Hey there, it's Dan over at Lock. So with a quick look at the new Flyover page Notes tab, this is a great new feature that we rolled out in the new redesign of the person page, the profile page or Flyover page, if you will. The Notes tab allows you a tool to quickly add notes onto a candidate's profile on the fly, like when you're chatting with them on the telephone. All right, for that, let's go into the profile page or the flyover page as we call it. And we're talking about the tab up here at the upper right in the right-hand column. You have three tabs in this column: details, assessments, and notes. So if I click on notes, this is where you can immediately get a notepad up to add some notes as maybe you're chatting with Ilya here. So use the add button at the upper right, and this is where you can quickly add a note on the fly, but you can also add a note using a note template, which I'll show you in a moment. And you can also access forms that you might have created on your settings page, like a candidate intake form that would have questions ready for you to use. So let's go through these options. You can see that we've added a note earlier, but if I click the note button, it immediately gives me a notepad where I can start typing a note of any length. And at the bottom, you can actually tie this note about the candidate to a particular job. So if I'm thinking about Ilya with regard to the C++ job at Apple in Tokyo, I can immediately tie this note that I'm about to write to that job in question. I'm just going to put the word test in here so you get the idea. Just start typing, type as much as you want. There's no need to worry about the length of the note or anything like that, although we do give you some ability to sort of modify the look and feel of the text that you're entering here. And then when you're done, simply hit the save note button down here, and that will save that note, as you can see, into this screen here. So you'll have access to it going forward, and you can see the fact that it's tied it to this Apple C++ job, this note here. And then going forward, if I want to delete that note, I can use the delete button. If I want to edit that note and add some detail or whatever, I can use the edit button here. And going forward, as you build up notes that are stored here, you'll be able to sort those notes or filter those notes the way they're displayed here by the job, by the creator of the note, and by date. Now, the other cool thing is, as I mentioned, is that you can create form templates on your settings page. So let's show you that piece. If we go to quickly the gear icon at the upper right, you guys know you access the settings page right here. On the left now, you're going to see a new button under My Settings right here at the bottom. Person note templates is what we're calling it here. Okay, so the person flyover page, we're talking about the templates that you create ahead of time for notes. So if I click there, I created one, so I'd have one to show in this training, called phone screen questions. Now, to create the person note template, you're going to use the add button at the upper right. Give a title or a name to the note template. I chose, phone screen questions, but give a note to it for your eyes only, and then type the template. So maybe the series of questions or whatever it is that you want to have at your fingertips when you're, say, chatting with a candidate over the telephone. Typically, you probably sketch out a few questions here, that kind of thing, and hit save. And that would save that note template into this list of note templates that you'll have here under the person note templates button on the settings page. And then you'll be able to access that going forward. So let's go back to the people tab. Let's make our way back to Ilya's profile page. I'm going to search his name and pull him up here in my database in this demo account. There he is. And so we're going back to Ilya's profile page, his flyover page, and we're going to go up to the Notes tab. And you can see the note I added a few seconds ago. If I use the Add button and choose From Template, it's going to give me the ability to access that phone screen questions template that I built. And when I click there, now I have the 3 questions that I put in there. How did you hear about the job? Are you willing to relocate to London? And where do you see yourself in 3 years, right? So the idea is you create the templated questions or whatever it is that you want to have at your fingertips here so that you have access to them when you're chatting with Ilya over the phone. And at this point, of course, you can record his answers in here and hit save at the bottom when you're done filling in sort of the details of his answers to these questions. Now, when you're adding a note, again, as I showed you, you can tie it to the job in question, right? And hit the save button when you're done. Now, at the upper right, when you use the Add button, you can also, as I said, access any forms that you've created on your settings page and use those as a basis for, documenting notes here. So for example, if I click intake form here, it's going to immediately show me all of the forms that I've created on my settings page for this demo account. And if I want to be able to access the candidate information form, I click on that and it's going to basically open up that candidate information form. So as I'm chatting with Ilya over the phone here, I can type in his name, how'd you hear about the job, what's your work status, what skills do you have, what company do you currently work for, what's your location, etc. So you access that form and you're able to complete the details of this form and hit save form at the bottom when you're done, or use the print button to print out this form. But you can see how handy this new notes sort of tool that we've rolled out as part of this new redesign of the profile page is going to prove to you guys, because it gives you a quick way to add notes on the fly with regard to this candidate when you're chatting with them on the phone, let's say, access form templates that you've created, or access actual forms on your settings page that are already in use by your team. So I think you're going to find that's a very handy tool in and of itself amongst all of the bells and whistles that we've rolled out with this new release. But if you have questions about using that notes tool, don't be shy reaching out to us using the chat button down here at the lower right whenever you're logged in on your account. We're always happy to hear from you, whether it's feedback or whether it's questions. Reach out to us and we'll be happy to chat with you. Thanks for watching.